Hi, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Corinne and I run a blog called Slay at Home Mother. You can also find me on Instagram. Just type in Slay at Home Mother and I'll pop right up. This video is a mashup of an entire month of weekly updates with my lettuce grow farm stand and glow rings, from assembly and setup to harvesting and troubleshooting. During my first month of growing indoors, I made a video each week and posted it to help newer farm stand owners navigate growing indoors. Maybe you have this on the background while you're assembling your farm stand and glow rings, maybe you just want to see what you'll be getting into, or maybe you're curious as to how this whole thing works. I really enjoy using our farm stand and hope you do too. Feel free to drop any comments or questions in the comment section below and give this video a big thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching and be sure to subscribe for future updates. I have 4 rings. The first top 3 rings are dual cable glow rings, and the bottom one is a single cable glow ring that will go on the very top and be assembled last. These glow rings are not very heavy and they are packaged very well. I'm very impressed. So this is the top one. See, it has the single connector. So I'm going to put this off to the side and I will attach this very last. It'll be my top row of glow lights for my lettuce grow farm stand. So once I've got this first tier on, it's time to put one of the glow rings on, the dual cable glow rings. First I'm going to unwrap my power supply cable. What I'm going to do first, this goes to my glow rings for my lettuce grow farm stand. So I'm going to put the cable where it belongs for now. And this little plug is just holding the spot for where my glow rings cord goes. I'm going to remove that and place this in. Let me just double check. Yeah, I want it in like this. Just open this and tuck it in like that. Okay, so now I've got my pump cord here and then my power supply for my glow rings set up through here. There's 2 notches that each cord can go through. And then once I'm done, I will snap on the cover. That looks like this, and it'll just snap right in there. All right, I'm gonna unwrap my first glow ring set. So I've got a dual cable glow ring that I'm using for the first tier. It looks like this. And I'm going to attach where it has the little unlock symbol and then this little notch here with the dot. Put in right there and then twist until it locks. You guys might, yeah, here it is. So here's the lock symbol and the dot is above the lock. So it is installed. This is really similar to putting together a Christmas tree where you have to connect the light from the bottom tier to the next tier to the next tier. And there's usually 3 sets of lights for a Christmas tree, right? So if you put together a Christmas tree, you'll be able to do this. Super easy. Okay, next is the next tier and then the next ring. Here's a close-up of the bulbs also, in case you guys want to see those, you're interested in getting these. I guess they're not really bulbs, it's more like a light strip, but you get the idea. Alright, I'm going to connect another female and male end. This one came up through from the other light. plug in the top single cable lights, and then on top of that we'll put the cap. My diffuser is a little dirty right now, but I don't mind. It'll do the job. It'll do just fine. Gonna connect this final glow ring, and then we're ready for the top. So this is what it looks like on top. And this other pipe extension and coupler I don't need, because just the one pipe extension and coupler did just fine for my 24 plant farm stand, but if I was up to 36, I would definitely need the second one. I'll keep it just in case I go up to 36 one day. We'll see. We'll see. Now it's time for this top part. And this has the same kind of locking mechanism that all the other pieces have. Pretty consistent. All right, here she is, my 24 plant farm stand with the glow rings. I'm going to plug the rings in and make sure that they work and that I connected everything sufficiently. So let's do it. My seedlings will be arriving this week, so I will be waiting until they arrive to fill up my farm stand and put in the nutrients and test the pH. For now, I'm just making sure I've got my lights good to go and my labels. So when you buy the glow rings from Lettuce Grow and you have your farm stand, you're gonna have one timer for your pump and another timer for your lights. So this is the brand new one that came in my glow rings kit. And these are moved very easily with just your thumbnail. Here are the glow rings timer settings straight from the Lettuce Grow book for the glow rings that comes in your box. You can pause this video and go by these timer settings here that are recommended. This dark gray section right here represents night, and each notch represents 15 minutes. So I'm going to go with what Lettuce Grow recommends, at least to start, just to see how it goes for us, and go with 14 hours. So I've got 12 hours right now. So 20, for my timer, I'm just gonna start at 6 and end at 8, and that gives me a solid 14 hours of light with 10 hours off during the day. So if I'm working in my office, I don't have a blinding set of glow rings over there in the corner disrupting, or I don't need to unplug it so that I can just take pictures or something while I'm working in my office, because that's where I'm keeping it, is in my office. This is all set. I am going to unplug it for now, just because I don't want it to be running until I get my seedlings in there and my water and my nutrients, and I'm all set. So this just came in the mail today. This is the floor mat that Lettuce Grow recommends you put under your farm stand if you're growing indoors. I bought the XXL, and here's the dimensions. I'll put this in the description below for you guys as well, but I'm going to set it up on the floor underneath where my farm stand's gonna go. So if you buy this particular dolly and this size mat, it goes and fits perfectly in here. So I'm just gonna show you guys. And this dolly rolls really easy. I used this last year. My seedlings just came in the mail. I'm so excited to open them with you guys and show you how they're packaged and what they look like. Here's my seedlings. They look so healthy. I love seeing the roots on these little cups. I think they're just adorable. Okay, so I need 4 scoops of both part A and part B nutrients to put into my farm stand. Can you say hi, Zoe? Yeah, say hi. Yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna do part A, which is in this blue bag. What are you doing? You trying to say hi? So I'm starting off with 4 scoops of bag A and then 4 scoops of B, and then I'm gonna mix it up with a wooden spoon that I have. And once the nutrients are put in there and stirred really well, I will let the pump run for a couple minutes before I test it, just to make sure that it's mixed thoroughly. And I'll grab, with the pH testing kit that comes in your Farmstand box, 5 mLs of water, and then drop in 5 drops of the pH tester solution. The color that you want to go for is yellow to lime green, or 5.5 to 6 pH. My water historically has always been in the much darker hunter green color range. So I know already that I'm going to need to add anywhere from 4 to 7 scoops of pH down. I started off with 4 scoops. As you guys can see, I'm adding 4 scoops of pH down right now, but that wasn't enough. I was still kind of in the hunter green stage, so I added 3 more for 7 total scoops. So here's my water after 7 scoops. It's in the yellow range, and I consider that 5.5. It does look a tiny bit orange, but it's still yellow, so I'm good. It's much better than the hunter green that I had before. I'm usually lucky if I can get it into the lime green color, so I'm happy with that as well. Now it's time to put my seedlings in my farm stand, so I'm going to give you guys an up-close look at what the seedlings look like. This first one is oregano, and you can see it looks really healthy. I'm just going to put it into one of the grow cups and then into my farm stand. And when you're putting your seedlings into the grow cups, feel free to push down a little bit so that the bottom of your seedlings, that little soggy brownie grow medium, reaches the bottom of your grow cup, because that's where the water is going to pour down onto. So this is what my timer looks like for my pump. I follow the instructions for indoor growing. So glow rings time over here, and then daylight, actual daylight over here, but no glow rings time here. And every notch represents 15 minutes. All right, let's plug her in. Woo! So this is what my farm stand looks like right now. I love the glow rings. They are incredible. I mean, wow. This is beyond exciting. I can't wait to grow fruits and vegetables in my farm stand and share the progress with you guys. Because I love labels, and if you guys follow me on Instagram or here on YouTube, you have definitely seen how much I love labels. I am going to relabel some of the plants that I've changed out. This is super easy to do. I do it with my Cricut. I'm going to link that down below as well in case you guys are interested. I use my Cricut several times a year for my pantry, for my kitchen, for my kids' rooms, to organize pretty much anything and everything, including my farm stand. But this way my kids can read and see what it is and watch the different plants grow with me, and then I know what each plant is as well. This thing is so futuristic looking. I feel like it's straight out of NASA. It just looks so cool. I'll be sharing with you guys weekly updates on how my plants are doing, any root trimming that I do, and I'll also be sharing that on my Instagram stories as well. So if you're not already, please go follow me there. I would love to have you. Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Corinne and I write a blog called slayathomemother.com. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you a 2-week update with my indoor vegetable garden from Lettuce Grow. I have the 24 plant farm stand with the glow rings. So I'm going to link some of my previous videos for you if you guys have missed my initial indoor growing setup video or my 1-week check-in for my garden. I'm going to link those in the description below along with this farm stand and the glow rings. Feel free to use my discount code at checkout to save yourself $50. For this video, I'm going to show you guys just an update on how my seedlings are doing, an update on the pepper seedling that looked like it was on its last leg, and I'll show you guys how I trim, maintenance, and take care of my indoor garden. It takes me a couple minutes a week, but it's so worth it. Everything is looking great so far, so I'll get into some troubleshooting as well, because I do have some things I need to troubleshoot, but I'm happy to do that here with you guys on this video. My tomato plants, you can see, have flowers blossoming, so that means I'm going to have tomatoes here really soon, which is so exciting. My green onions this year, indoor gardening, are growing up towards the glow rings. I was really surprised about that. I kind of figured with the angle of the cups facing out that they would grow outwards as well, but they're growing straight up, which is really cool. My lettuce and romaine are starting to blossom and everything is just looking so healthy. On the top row of my Lettuce Grow farm stand, I have all of my herbs. I'm growing parsley, mint, basil, cilantro, oregano, and thyme. You can see my mint is just taken off and it is growing tremendously. I can't believe how much mint I have. So in this video, I will harvest some mint and some basil with you. My bottom row is where my zucchini and cucumbers are, and you can see these little tiny cucumbers. They look so adorable. And here's what my farm stand looks like with the glow rings at night when the glow rings are turned on. As you can tell, the glow rings don't seem very bright. They are extremely bright. From the outside of our house in, if you're looking in the window, it just looks like I'm working all night long because the lights kind of fill up the room. So I wouldn't put these glow rings in a common area of your house, like a living room, maybe like the corner of an office like I have, or in the very corner of your kitchen. But definitely not in an area where you're going to have to be watching TV or trying to wind down or relax for the evening. Here are my little baby zucchinis, and you can see the female flowers are about to bloom as well as the male flowers. The female flowers are the ones that have the fruit. So they look like a little skinny, like a little skinny tube with a flower on the end, and then the male flowers are just the regular flowers. So in a couple of days when these open up, I'm going to take a little paintbrush and I'm going to brush the inside of the male flower and then brush the inside of the female flower and do the work of a bee. A bee, if this plant was outside, would normally come and pollinate these flowers and put the pollen where it needs to go. Cucumbers also need to be hand pollinated, so you'll need to take a little paintbrush or a Q-tip and brush the inside of a male flower and then brush the inside of a female flower. And I like to do this a couple of times just to make sure that there's a good transfer. Now I'm going to be mixing up the nutrients to put into my farm stand. I like to take a pitcher of really, really warm water. I wouldn't say hot water, I would say really, really warm water. And first mix in part A of the nutrients that I have from lettuce grow, mix those really well, and then mix in part B. Once my nutrients are blended really well into my water, I will put them into my Farmstand and run it for a few minutes before I test the pH. Alright, so I'm going to switch my timer for my pump from the setting of timer to on. Let that run for several minutes and move on with root trimming before I get to the point where I'm ready to test the pH of the water. So I'm really just letting the pump disperse the water and kind of mix the nutrients in for me before I test. Oh my gosh, look at how long these zucchini roots are. They are incredibly long. So for this kind of plant that needs to be towards the bottom of your farm stand, you definitely want to be trimming these roots weekly because they could definitely, in no time, reach the bottom of your farm stand tank and clog the pump. So please, please, if you get zucchini especially as a seedling, make sure you are doing weekly trimmings. And again, I've covered this before, but I like to wear gloves when I'm doing this because the roots are wet, they have nutrients on them, they've been dripping in the farm stand. I just like to wear gloves. By the way, these trellis plastic inserts are not from Lettuce Grow. I am going to link them in the description below for you if you're interested though. Working my way from the bottom all the way to the top of my farm stand, I check all of the roots, make sure everything looks good, and trim as needed. Some plants have way longer roots than others. Other plants have barely any need for trimming at all. Like my strawberries, they needed absolutely no trimming. I'm actually a little concerned for them, but I know the harvest time for strawberries is somewhere between 5 and 10 weeks. So I do have some time to go for them, just hoping they get some roots here soon. Now that I've gone through all the plants in my farm stand and trimmed roots as necessary, I'm going to go ahead and check the pH of the water in my farm stand tank. So I'm going to take that pH test kit that comes with your farm stand, grab 5 mLs of water, drop 5 drops of the pH tester in there, and see what color I get. My water is usually at about a 7, 7.5, and I usually need to add somewhere between 6 and 7 scoops of pH. I know it seems like a lot, but that's just what I've learned from experience, so I'm going to go ahead and add 6 scoops of pH down in there and get the water to where I need it to be. And I like to use the pump as a mixer, so I'm going to put those 6 scoops in there. I'm going to wait several minutes and just let the pump mix everything together before I retest it. Now that it's been several minutes, I'm going to retest the water. It is already looking so much better. It looks like a lime green color, so we are in the 6 pH, and we want to be somewhere between 5.5 and 6 each time we put in nutrients. I mentioned this in my last video, but one of my pepper plants, from the stress of shipping, the stalk snapped, so it didn't make it. I'm going to take out the grow medium and put in a foam golf ball. The golf ball just takes the place of the grow medium and makes sure that no gnats or flies or bugs can get into the farm stand to where the water supply is, and it also prevents light from shining in, which can help with algae growth. Now I'm going to do my very first harvest. This is so exciting. My basil has just been crazy tall. I'm ready to trim it, as well as my mint. For basil, you want to go about 1/4 of an inch above a node, and a node is where leaves are starting to come out. So you'll see that I'm cutting with scissors 1/4 of an inch above where some leaves are coming out. And where I've cut, now 2 more stalks will grow from that one cut. Now I'm ready to harvest my mint. I should have done this last week because it has just been growing like crazy, and the more you harvest, the more you grow when it comes to mint. So I'm going to be having tons and tons of mint. Alright, here's my very first harvest. I, for now, put the basil and mint into a cup of lukewarm water. I'm going to keep that in a cup for a day or two until I'm ready to make some basil mint pesto. I'll share that on my Instagram story, so if you guys aren't already following me there, feel free to pop over there and click the follow button. And while you're at it, go ahead and click the subscribe button, because I am not going to stop sharing this Lettuce Grow farm stand. I'm so excited, and indoor growing seems to be my jam. One thing that I am going to troubleshoot with you guys is gnats. I'm noticing some gnats, and I'm not quite sure where they've come from or if they are indeed linked to my farm stand. In Michigan, I don't usually see them until about fall. I just want to get ahead of the problem before it becomes a problem. So I am going to add some mosquito bits that are also great for controlling fungus gnat larvae. I'm going to put some of these into a tea strainer, and I will show you guys what that looks like. But this is what Lettuce Grow recommends when it comes to gnats, for controlling a gnat population or if there's any gnat larvae. According to Lettuce Grow, they recommend 1 teaspoon a week. So I'm going to go with their recommendation of 1 teaspoon a week of mosquito bits in a tea strainer that is floating in the tank. Mosquito bits don't really dissolve, so that's why I'm not trying to do the same thing I do with my nutrients by putting them into some really warm water and stirring them really fast. I've tried doing that before, but it's not how they're meant to be used. So I'm just putting them in a tea strainer and letting them float so that it can still get to the farm stand water, but I don't have to worry about anything clogging the pump or any kind of residue later on when I'm having to reset my farm stand. To put this tea strainer on the cord, I'm gonna have to open up the hook on the very top a little bit. I'll show you guys how much I had to open it in case you guys get the same one, but just enough to sit on top of the cable. And then I'm going to float in the tea strainer so that it is just hanging in the water and doing its job. For my tomato plants, I need to do a little maintenance and get rid of some suckers. Tomato suckers are also called side shoots, and by trimming the side shoots, you can make it so that your plant is more manageable. It also speeds up the fruit ripening. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something new about the Lettuce Grow farm stand, or maintenance, or troubleshooting. If you guys have any particular questions, please leave them in the comments below and I will try my best to answer them. I am new at indoor growing with my farm stand, but I am encountering all kinds of troubleshooting and solutions and harvesting, and I'm really excited to share that with you guys. So please leave any questions or concerns that you guys are having in the comments below, and stay tuned for some more harvest videos here coming up. Welcome back to my channel. In my last video, I showed you guys my lettuce grow setup for indoor gardening. This was so exciting because I introduced a set of glow rings to go with my Lettuce Grow farm stand. They are magnificent. I've been sharing them with my Instagram audience, so if you are new here and you're not already following me there, go ahead and click on that link in the description below and follow me on Instagram as well for more updates. I am so proud of how my vegetables have been growing so far. I have been using a trellis that I found online on Amazon, so I'm going to link it in the description below as well if you guys are growing anything that is viney like zucchini, cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, things like that that will need a trellis. This is, again, just 1 week after putting my seedlings in my lettuce grow farm stand. Everything seems to be really growing and taking off, so I'm really excited to continue sharing the weekly updates with you guys. Also, be sure to check out the link and the code in the description below. It's going to help you save $50 on your farm stand. Also, Lettuce Grow, I just want to throw this out here, has a referral program. So when you get your Lettuce Grow farm stand, if you happen to know friends or family members and they use your referral code, you'll get $25 credit on your account and they'll get $50 credit on their order. So the referral program is really, really cool. I'll also be talking about this pepper plant that I have propped up with the 2 toothpicks that are orange and red. I'll talk about that later on in this video and give you guys a quick update about that. Here's a little side-by-side comparison to my farm stand last week versus this week and how the plants are growing and doing. They're already really taking off. I'm so proud of them. In this video, I'll be sharing weekly maintenance tips, testing the pH, and trimming your roots. So everything you need to do once a week. It only takes a few minutes per week to do, and it just helps your plants grow the best that they can. I have some water I'm going to add to my farm stand. So what I like to do is grab a pitcher and put some water in it, about 1/3 of the way, mix in the nutrients, and then dump them into the tank. So that way they dissolve a little bit better and there's no nutrient sediment that builds up on the bottom of the tank. So then when I have to go and reset it later in several months, I won't have to scrub as hard. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my timer on for my pump, and I'll let the nutrients and water mix for several minutes before I test the pH. So now that it's been several minutes, I'm going to open this back up, take a water sample, just 5 mLs, drop 5 drops of this pH down tester in here. Alright, so I have 5 mLs. I'm going to drop 5 drops of this testing liquid in here. And we want a yellow to lime green color. Okay, so that's more of a hunter green color. I want to lighten that up a little bit, so we're gonna put some pH down. All right, here's the pH down that I'm gonna use. I'm gonna do 5 scoops. Because I've been here before and I've done this before and I know about how much I'll need to get the desired results. Alright, I'm going to let that run for a couple more minutes and then I'll retest it. Alright, so I still have my pump running. I'm just going to open this up. Grab 5 mLs. Good to me. All right, and again, we want to go for a yellow to lime green color. All right, we're getting closer, but I feel like I still need some more. I feel like it's just not quite light enough, so we're gonna add more. I'm gonna add 2 more scoops. So I'm going to give this a couple more minutes. Now that I've added 2 more scoops of pH down, I'll retest it and then we'll see what we end up with. Alright, I have 5 mLs of water. So let's drop in 5 drops. Alright, so here's the color that I got. It's like a lime green color, which is a 6 to me, but it does have a little bit of yellow, so I think it's right in between 5.5 and 6. I'm happy with that. pH looks good to me, so I'm going to leave it there. It took me 7 scoops of pH down to get that, so that just tells you the status of my water. Pretty typical that I need about 7 scoops to get it right on where it should be pH-wise. By letting my Farmstand run for a few minutes before testing the pH, I'm allowing everything to mix in and get a more accurate reading, in case you're wondering. I always do that in between testing. I'm doing this in increments and testing to show you guys what effect each scoop of pH down has on the actual testing result for pH. My water, I have well water. We have a water softening system, but the pH is normally pretty high. So I know that I need to add between 5 and 7 scoops. So I know Lettuce Grow recommends adding, I think it's half a scoop of pH down and then retesting. I can tell you from experience just in my house that I need to do way more than half a scoop. If I was doing that, I would be here all day. But just trying to keep it open and honest with you guys, you know what to expect. When you're first doing this, I would recommend following their guidelines and just sticking with half a scoop at a time and testing. You'll learn with your water system and you'll gain the experience that you'll need as you go on, and it'll happen pretty quick. Well, you'll learn what your water needs, what your farm stand needs, and you'll be able to be the best indoor gardener you can be. Even with having to adjust the pH a little bit, it still only takes a couple minutes per week, and I'm able to just watch my vegetables grow, and that's the most fun part. Now I'm going to start trimming the roots on my plants. I like to start from the bottom and work my way up. These bottom plants usually have longer roots, especially the zucchini roots. They grow really, really fast, so I think this is a really great example to show you guys in just a week's time how long they can grow and how to trim them. I'm just using regular scissors. You can use child scissors, kitchen scissors. You don't have to use special scissors by any means, whatever you have on hand. I'm also using a cleaning glove to grab the plants. You don't have to do this. You don't need to do this. You can certainly do it with just your hands, but I'm choosing to use a glove. Here is another one of my zucchini plants. Just look at the roots that have already grown after 1 week on this plant. It's insane. So this is also a really good representation of why you need to trim your roots frequently, just once a week, so that they don't reach down to the bottom of your farm stand and plug the pump that is pushing the water up to rain down on the roots. The zucchini plant is doing so well. I already see some buds, which will flower and then fruit. So I'm really excited about that. Hopefully in a couple more weeks, I'll be able to harvest some zucchinis. Once I work my way from the bottom up to the top, I just go through each plant and I take it out and I just look at the roots. Some of them need more frequent trimmings, like once a week, and then others might need no trimming at all. So just be sure to put eyes on all the roots to see which ones need trimming and which ones don't. So unfortunately, one of my peppers died. I think the stress of traveling, it snapped right here on the stem, so I actually cut off the dead part and I just have the stem here. And I am hopefully gonna see some growth here, but I doubt it. Lettuce Grow customer service was amazing. They credited my account for the seedlings so that next time I top off my seedlings, because they only ship 6 minimum at a time, I can grab a new seedling and replace this one. If it does die, I do have a foam golf ball. I'll take out this grow medium and I'll put the foam golf ball in place here to block the sunlight and plug in the hole, and that way no more bacteria or bugs or anything can get into the farm stand and contaminate the water and nutrient supply. If you do have any issues like that, this is the first time I've had an issue and about the 4th time I've ordered seedlings, so very, very uncommon. Jackson, what do you think of the farm stand?
Cool.
You think it's cool? What do you think is the most cool about it?
It's just, you can make plants out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all.
What about watching the plants grow?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right?
Look at all these plants which is full grown.
They're not full grown yet, but they're getting there. Yeah. You excited to eat some fruits and vegetables?
I don't like fruits.
Honest answer, I appreciate that. I did want to just give you guys a big shout out. Thank you so much to everyone that has supported me in my indoor gardening journey over the last year. I know I haven't done as many updates. I'm trying to change that this year and try to keep you guys more in the loop, doing more videos, more updates, and sharing more with you guys. Comments, likes, subscribes, shares, everything counts and everything matters to me, and I really, really appreciate it. Hello, hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Corinne. I run a blog called slayathomemother.com, and this is part of my Lettuce Grow Farm Stand indoor growing series, so welcome. In my last video, I showed you guys my 2-week update. This will be my 3-week update. I upload one every Thursday, so I hope you'll join me and subscribe for more updates. In my last video, I showed you guys how I trim the roots, how my roots are growing, different maintenance that I have to do to my farm stand. It only takes a couple minutes a week. Overall, I'm still highly impressed with this system. I love my hydroponic planter. It's just so fun watching all of the herbs and vegetables grow. It truly is. My kids love seeing all the vegetables grow and then going in and picking out different herbs and the lettuce. They absolutely adore this planter. So if you are on the fence, you're thinking about it, I hope that you'll check it out with the code and the link in the description below. This system is truly amazing and wonderful. I can't recommend it enough, but if you are still curious about the indoor setup or even the outdoor setup, I do have a couple other videos. I will link them in the description below for you guys to view and see. So here are some tomato flowers for my Scarlet cherry tomatoes. I don't think I shook the plant enough when I first realized I even had flowers here, so I'm not sure these are even going to produce any fruit. But luckily I do have some flowers that are starting to bud up here that I can luckily shake the plant, run a fan on it, and hopefully get some tomatoes up here. So I have fungus gnats, and I am really sad to say that I do, but I'm really fortunate to be able to have this problem so that I can document how I take care of it and help you guys take care of it as well. I can tell you what I've done to control the population and get rid of them, so that if you guys are, battling the same problem as I am, you can get rid of your fungus gnats pretty easily. I'm gonna link these little sticky flypaper, butterfly-shaped inserts that I have here. I've only got 2 on my farm stand. This one seems to be the most popular hangout here. You can see I've got a ton of adult fungus gnats hanging out here. I also have one up here, and you can't see any on the front side. These are just little parts of leaves that tore off, but I do have some on the back side. I'll try to give you guys a view of that in just a second here. So here's the other side of the strawberry flypaper insert. You can see some gnats have flown onto the other side of this paper. So I am definitely catching the adult fungus gnats. Just be sure to control both the adult and egg/larva population when you do this. Holy romaine! Am I right? Look at all these leaves! I am so thrilled with how my romaine is growing. It looks fantastic. So does my summer lettuce. Just beautiful. Let's peek over to the other side as well. Walk with me, if you will. All right, here we go. Tons of leafy greens going on in here. I'm so excited. And if you guys saw my last video, I actually harvested some of this mint, and it is already just going nuts over here. Tons of new growth. I need to harvest my parsley and my cilantro. I've already got tons of parsley and cilantro that need to be harvested, as well as my thyme. I've got plenty of thyme on my hands. Haha, see what I did there? So I'm gonna be harvesting that in this video as well. So these three are getting harvested: parsley, thyme, and cilantro. Here's what my oregano looks like, and I can honestly harvest some of this today as well. And then here is my basil after I have cut it. Let me see if I can tell. Yes. So I cut right above these leaves here, and it looks like there's two new shoots here and here. And then same thing over here. Some more new growth to each side of where I made the cuts. Here are my broccoli plants. No broccoli just yet, but tons of leaves, like holy leaves. Look at all these leaves. And this over here is part of my cucumber plant, all the way back there, so I'll let you guys see that too. But here's the other tomato plant. Doesn't look like I have, oh no, I do. I have some flowers that are gonna start blooming over here really soon. Really exciting news, but one of my strawberry plants actually has some shoots coming off, finally. I'm really, really excited about this. I was nervous that I was ever gonna get any strawberries, period, because I know the harvest time is between 5 and 10 weeks. So I'm really excited to hopefully get some strawberries here soon. Looks like progress to me. For my fungus gnats, I needed to control both the adult population and the egg/larva population. So to control the adult population, I got some of this fly paper and I put it near the popular hangout spots where I've seen them, and just kind of waited for it to collect. But I also put out a small dish and let it sit on one of the glow rings of apple cider vinegar with a touch of dish soap. The apple cider vinegar attracts the fungus gnats, but the dish soap, just a drop or two, changes the surface tension of the vinegar so that when they fly in to eat the vinegar, they get trapped and then drown. But if they don't, if they're smart enough and they don't, decide to drown in the apple cider vinegar, they can land on one of these where then they'll be trapped and they just kind of hang out here until they die. So unfortunately, I don't like to see any living thing die, but when it comes to fungus gnats, unfortunately, they're a pretty nasty pest, and they're egg-laying machines. So you really got to be on top of their population control. Make sure that you get both the adult population and the egg/larva population. For the egg and larva population for my fungus gnats, I actually took pure hydrogen peroxide. I know that Lettuce Grow recommends that you do diluted hydrogen peroxide, but I had a pretty serious infestation, so I took pure hydrogen peroxide in a cup and I dunked each seedling up to the top of the grow medium, the very, very top of the soil. I dunked and made sure not to get any of the leaves, and let it fizz for about 30 seconds to a minute, and made sure that all of the larvae floated up to the top, and gave that hydrogen peroxide a good chance to kill off any eggs or larvae. So I did that to each seedling in here, made sure not to touch any of the foliage on these seedlings, and that seemed to really help control the fungus gnat population as far as eggs and larvae go. So we just looked at one of my broccoli plants here, and by the way, this is from the glow rings. This is from the lights that are on the glow rings. So that's on quite a few of my plant leaves. Just unfortunately one of the things that comes with having, grow lights so close to plants. But here is my other broccoli plant doing really well. Nice big leaves that are growing up and out. And then here's another leaf with those white spots from the glow rings. Here is an up-close personal look at one of my cucumber plants. You can see some little baby cucumber buds growing, some kooks. I think baby cucumbers are just so darling. And then I have some flowers in here. And I apologize if it's dark. So there is actually an open female flower over here. Right there. I'll get a close-up. Hang on one second. Alright, I'm going to do some hand pollination. I have a regular paintbrush here. Here's a male flower on my cucumber plant. A female flower will look more like a cucumber, like one of these, like a cucumber with a bud on the end. Whereas the male flower is just kind of like a small round bulb with a flower on it, like this. It's a male flower. And then over here is a female flower. See how it's got like the baby cucumber and then the flower on the end of it? It's a female flower. So we're going to take some of the pollen from inside the male flower and transfer it to this female flower over here. As I mentioned in my last video, this is normally the part that the bee outdoors would play, but because we're going indoors, I need to do this by hand with the help of a paintbrush. So I'm just transferring, I'm doing this twice, the pollen from the male flower to the inside of the female flower for my cucumbers. Also, I would just want to note this, remember that when you are hand pollinating to use one paintbrush per plant. You don't want to mix the pollen of the two different plants because then you'll end up with some weird fruit or vegetables. Once my nutrients are mixed completely in the water, I put the water into my farm stand, and then I also sometimes grab another pitcher of water if my farm stand needs a refill. The farm stand conserves about 95% of water that you put into it, so this doesn't need to be done every single week or even frequently, but it's something that you might want to look at while you are down there and looking at the water level and putting in the nutrients. So while my pump is mixing up the nutrients before I test the pH, I'm going to go ahead and squirt some hydrogen peroxide. This is 3% hydrogen peroxide into the tank. This will also help control the fungus gnat population. On top of everything else I'm doing, it's just a good preventative measure. And I add it in once a week when I do my maintenance, trim my roots, and put in the nutrients. So once this is mixed up for a couple minutes, I will remove the cover, test the pH, and add any pH down as needed. I have very hard water, so my water usually needs a couple scoops, about 6 to 7 scoops of pH down to get to that 5.5 to 6 pH range. I'm usually at a 7. For now, I'm using the pH down that comes from Lettuce Grow, but the bag isn't very large, and this is almost empty. I need to order some more, so I think I'll go ahead and order some more from Lettuce Grow, but moving forward I might be looking into a different alternative for pH down since I need a lot each week. But the bag is just, I'm not exactly sure how many, 6 ounces. So this lasts me a couple weeks with 6 ounces. It goes a lot faster with my water in my system than I would like, so I'll probably be looking into some kind of alternative options for pH down. If you guys know any good options, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to check them out and hear them. Maybe find a good solution. I'm gonna probably need to add in about 6 to 7 scoops once this is mixed in for a couple minutes. Now I'm going to test the pH, so I'm going to take about 5 mLs of water with the pH test kit that comes with your Lettuce Grow setup, drop in 5 drops of the tester, and see what color I get. It is recommended to have a pH of 5.5 to 6, which is like a yellow or a lime green color. Mine is usually at the 7 or 7.5 range. So that's why I need about 6 or 7 scoops. And Lettuce Grow recommends that you add just half a scoop of pH down and then retest, but I know know from experience with my water, I need 6 to 7 full scoops of pH down, so it's quite a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and add the pH down and then retest in a few minutes, but while I am waiting to retest, I'm gonna go ahead and do some root trimming for my plants, and I'll show you guys how the roots on all my plants are doing. There's gonna be some plants that I'm gonna skip the root cutting on because they don't really need it. And it's recommended by Lettuce Grow that you only trim 1/3 of the roots, but especially when it comes to really long roots like my zucchini plants, I'll show you guys in a minute here, I just go ahead and clip it down to the plant cup. And it's not recommended, but my plants have been doing really well with it so far, so you'll see me do that. It's not the proper way to do things, but that's the way that I do things, and my plants have been doing just fine. My poor cucumber plant just took a beating on the glow ring right there. Did you guys see that? I didn't even notice, but I try to be as gentle as I can with my plants, and I just totally missed that until I'm looking back now and editing this clip. So this cucumber plant, I don't really need to do any root trimming. I'm just gonna stick that back in the farm stand and skip root trimming for that plant. But look at my zucchini roots. I mean, if I didn't trim these once a week, they would for sure clog the pump at the bottom of the farm stand tank. So definitely needs to be done each week, especially for zucchinis. Some of these plants are cut and come again plants, like the green onions. Whenever I'm ready to use those, I can literally take some scissors and cut them at ground level or grow medium level, and they will, new shoots will grow up, so they will regrow. Strawberries are also cut and come again, zucchinis, cucumbers, tomatoes. Other plants like lettuce and romaine are a one-time harvest, so whenever I'm ready to harvest these, I know I need to order new seedlings and replace these seedlings with new plants. So I've just cut my cilantro about 1 centimeter above some new growth here, and now 2 new shoots will come out from right around here. And I'm going to go around and do the same thing to the rest of my plants. The lowest temperature my oven will go to is 170, so I put it at 170. I put my parsley in there, single row, leaves not touching anything else, even any other stems, for about 3 hours, and let that just bake on some parchment paper, and removed it later and crumpled it up, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. Now I've emptied out most of it. I'm going to put in a new a lot of them. So there we go. Put the lid back on. And then hang it from one of the cords right inside the hole for my Farmstand tank. I'm gonna link this tea strainer along with my other Lettuce Grow Farmstand Amazon favorites for you guys if you're interested in this or you're battling fungus gnats like I am. This is very handy. So now I am going to put this back into the tank. I just float this in here and hook this onto here. So here you can see that the tea strainer is just hooked right here on the light cable. So not too tight, but firm enough to where it doesn't go anywhere. Now that I'm done with all my maintenance and nutrient replacing, root trimming, all of that, I'm gonna go ahead and put in some new sticky fly paper inserts into some of my cups and make sure I don't have any more fungus gnats. And if I do, then I know that I need to repeat the hydrogen peroxide step as well to make sure I don't have any eggs or larvae. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this indoor 3-week update video. If you like and enjoy these videos, please let me know in the comments below so I know to continue making them. I love growing with my indoor lettuce grow setup. I'm gonna link it for you in the description below. Please feel free to use my code for a $50 discount on your farm stand and seedlings. And I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you guys so much for all of your likes, comments, shares, and support. It means so much to me. I love being able to share this kind of content with you. So I hope you enjoy growing either indoors or outdoors with your Lettuce Grow Farm Stand. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below that I can help answer for you or help clarify. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.